Hello, this is Gerald Johan van Waas. It is possible to understand each letter in Roman script or every letter or character in the Japanese script even to understand it from its position, how we orientate ourselves with that letter and in the combinations with the letters. We can understand them also with some help. And I will provide you this help. In this video I will show you the combinations. But first I quickly go through how this is organized. Every vowel is a kind of orientation, general orientation, and the A letters are general orientations of what you have in space before you. E and O are the letters that are in the time schedule perspective, and the E is what is in the background, what is in a general sense. All the Japanese and Chinese scripts are in that second category, mainly in that category of where you land with what is desired to be correct. So we in the Roman script start from a position of I, what we want to see, like to see, want to experiment, want to see how the reality is. The Chinese and Japanese script are more about what is actually more in a general sense the reality, that everybody can use it and everybody can use it in the same way. So the perspective is a bit different. So that's why all the Roman characters and associations are a bit wider around you. In the associations, they are the same in all languages, but these are focuses, individual focuses, and they switch more or less. While the letters of the scripts that are written down in Chinese and Japanese scripts are all about immediate results, the desired result. To understand what is going on, what is in the background, both comparisons are very helpful. But in this video I will focus upon the E. The E letter, I will compare them to the Roman position, Roman letter position, and then the Japanese script position. We start with the Roman script position, the letter E. There is an organization with the Roman letters, which is the Pythagorean order. It's an order, a numerical order, which starts from the space before you where the A was. The E is the second category where you need two focuses, to the starting point to the end. So everything which involves change and the element of time. So you have a starting point, that's the E, and the timings that can evolve towards something else in time, partially. You can recognize the letter, how this goes as a starting point from any level or any organization towards something that will go towards a change, something more, something different in future. So it is a starting point in time. That's the E. That's how it is associated. That's how we see it. The letter E in the Japanese script is in the Hiragana script is a bit different. They are in the background dealing with what you need to do to make a change in the timing. So there are two positions in timing. It's the starting point where you have something that will change. That's defined by E. It's the starting point of changes in time. And where you land to, where the moment is what is needed, when you discover what is needed, that's the letter O, and that is presented in the letter O. That is that position fits with that second position, so from start to finish in a time schedule, in a timing, you have from E to O. The letter E in the Hiragana script is dealing then with what is needed to go towards a change, to go towards what is scheduled in time. So you don't have it immediately. So you have to go through a process. This process is like every letter in our character dominated by an idea that you take it with you in time forward, but also adapt. So there's a kind of adaptation process involved in the background. That's that move forward and that's taking a step back to see that you come to what is real about it. And then you can go forward with it again. So that's the letter N on the top. First one is, you engage, forward, stepping, take, back, and then, I have the element. That's the letter N at the end. So I have the element at the end. That's the idea. This idea, let's say it's fantasized, but the idea fits with what is needed to understand every aspect of this script and every aspect of the associations of the letters that are used. So for the Japanese script, it is the taking time, taking a step back, and then you come to the position, the partial position of what you need to change. So it's a consciousness about, okay, there is something that we need to change. We don't know it yet, but it has to have a transformation process first. Once the transformation is done, we will be able to continue and derive something new from it. So after a successful addition, we will come to a successful proceeding in time. So I have a time schedule in two parts. Something starts in time. Why does it start in time? Because it needs to be transformed. It needs to be, there is a change in the future that we need to expect. So there is something that we need to adapt. There's something we need to do. That's all with the e from need. It is used as in need as well, written down as e. There is a need to do something to make the change happen. Make is then again written not with e, but pronounced like e. E is always the making. So, and what is what are the combinations with the letter E? So all the combinations with the consonants, they have a different letter or character in the Japanese script, and they all of the letters with the vowels have a same kind of combinations with consonants. And there's an order in it, and this order is logical, and the order combines the vowel with consonants, which is always the first letter to combine with is the letter K. K is also in my theory of the Roman letters in the Pythagorean script is the first letter where you have some doubts that, can I continue? Where shall I continue? I have to look a bit better for which conditions are there that I need to continue. Or in this case, what is actually causing the e to happen, to appear, that I need it? Where is it needed and where is it not needed? There's a kind of dependency of where the e should be applied to, and that's what the letter K can do. When you have a letter K, you give it actually that moment of doubt, an attention, a specific attention that gives you an attention. With your attention, what shall I do? What are the conditions for K? And they are described in this character, which I will describe in a moment. You have, of course, this dependency. What is needed? What is the element that is needed in E? What is the first initiator in E? The initiator is that something needs to change. So you have that moment that you have that foundation that you have there is based upon there is a need to change in the moment. The next moment will be that I will have to deal with an adaptation towards that process. It's a bit a way to remember it that something that is not there yet needs to be achieved. I have a time schedule for that. There's a timing for it in times, and I need to adapt to it, and I will get something out of it. That's the que. Que is also used in Spanish, for instance. Que it means what, or yeah, it orientates itself also on what do I need? What is it really that I need in time? It's about timing, and it is actually making the question from the beginning of the time process, what do I need that I need time for it? And of course, the need is that something needs to be transformed, something needs to be changed, something needs to change. Otherwise, there would have not have been a time schedule. The time schedule means something is not there now. There are some conditions. Make the conditions, and then you will receive it. But you have to do something first, and that's the order of the timing processes. Before a timing process is sensitive, is needed, is sensed, and is engaged, you need to have that idea. What is the general support for this? The next step after the realization, where do I need it? There is also a general support. There are general conditions that makes it so. That's the next order with consonants. That's always like that. First you have the K, and the next letter is the S. So the S is then in the background. You sense, in your general sense, not personally, you sense that it is needed to make a change. I noticed that also when you have these S as the general sense in the background, you can also see it in that letter. It's that general sense in the background. And you have this time schedule again. Time schedule before something can come out. Have to sense what is needed to go and make as a change. And this S in the background gives the right effect, that it makes it so that something will go towards a change in future. General conditions makes it so that this process will occur, and this process will be about a change that is going to happen, where something can come out. Now the next part with combinations with consonants, it's always in the same order. You have the K first, then the S, and the next thing will be the T. The T will be the focus on what is needed, what is the direct focus that I need, what is it that I have, what is the functionality of it, what is it that will bring forth then something new, what is the real thing before me that needs me to go and change something. For the Roman letters, it's the letter T. That's that position in space. It's a position which gives it a functionality. When I notice where it is in space, I know where I can do something with it. That's our idea of Roman letters. In the Japanese script, you can associate it with a transformation process as well, and something that needs to come out. So because that's the practical thing of it. That's the reason why it is there. There's something you need to follow in time first before you can take something out. So that which brings forth something, so that which will bring forth something, of course, after a while. And what is then the support not in space but also in time? So you have the position that you have as a guidance in space, the letter T, and then you have a position in the timing schedule, also with the verticals, two verticals, and the verticals are actually say we have a moment in which we can use it and pinpoint it, that we can derive from something from it. So how is that connected with the Japanese script? Or how can we understand it? Again, we focus upon what we can take out of it after a while. When can we take it out? Only after when we make a foundation, we realize the only foundation that can work in time, in this case, not in space, in time, this case, is one that is derived to the transformation process. We deal with that transformation, a changing process, and that changing process can reach a new thing. So we have, okay, the N is, you see there is the T, and then there is the N. N is that choice, actually. They say, what shall I take out that is useful? The only thing that can be useful in time, after a while, is when I deal with what needs to change. So only when I deal with that thing that changed, so that's what you have the first part in the letter, then I can make that change. And now the general sense is coming back again, so you have this focus again before you. So now you have the general support. What is the general support in this process that something needs to change, that I go towards something else, towards a change? That's supported by the letter H. Letter H is also again in the background, so we go from space to timing to the background, to the general space in the background, so always in the same order. So what is supportive is, it must of course be productive, otherwise the change will not happen. Why should there be a change? There should be a productive change, of course. There should be that jump, let's say, towards where we need to go to. It should uplift everything a little. That's how you can associate it easily. And then the results. The last couple of letters with consonants, or the combination with consonants, are all about, again, space, time. The general sense. In the vertical sense, what comes out of it as the extra, what is gained physically, is the first association, and the first letter that is associated with that is with the letter M. So me is what is gained physically, what is gained with me. I know it in Dutch is me is having extra, something extra, having with. It's more or less expressed with, but okay, that's besides the point. It's one of the applications that you can have with me. How it is expressed here is also what you can gain as an extra out of it physically. That's how you have to associate it. Something physical will come out of it. Me, so that you have something extra that you can gain from it physically, in physical space, in a physical association, in space. Next part will be the general sense. That's the last part. I mean, it immediately jumps to the conclusion where you have the general support. That's always the last letter is combined with the letter R. It's the general force. It's the conclusion of what is a thing that gains a timing process so that you can gain something from it. What's the power that drives it? The driving force, let's say. The driving force is what are all the things that can be reproduced as well, so that they can also be repeated in that challenging mode. That's how I see it. It's again our foundation with the transformation, but in the background, all what I have, I can have it repeated again and again, so that it's in a general sense. Why you don't have to accept it as final conclusions, but what is important to realize with the is that timing process. And what you have with the timing process is that there's a change involved, and there's a need for a change involved. This change doesn't stop from just one request. It's an ongoing thing. So the re is also the reproduction. It's running in the background and it's repeating itself. It's there all the time. When you realize that, that's when it works. That's when the e in general sense works. You have to have the transformation process always on the background, and it should be able to repeat it and be productive in it. And that's more or less what the letter is describing, or should be describing, because that's what it means. So my conclusion is then, what do we have with e? If e had a starting point in time, where we take the time in the Roman sense, it's just like, okay, take the time and well, let's see where we land to. But if you really want to not just to give it a go with it like in the Roman letters, but really make it work like in the balanced script in Japanese and Chinese, there has to be a balance. So there has to be a good reason for it to maintain this. So this is not enough. So this first part of the e, the timing itself, e, is expressed in my theory in the Roman letters as simply the starting point of timing. There are certain conditions to make it work, that you when you combine it with other consonants, that it works all the time. So what is needed? Not just that a time process is started, but also it is only successful when it can also face the challenge that something will change from the process. And then the change itself is not just once, it's a repeated occurrence that things are in a changeable condition. So the timing with e is not about like, okay, I have something to reach and I will reach it, and once I reach it, I will it's gone. No. The e is really a focus in time that is going to reach something, but the conditions before going to reach there are always there. They continue this need of understanding of the conditions. These conditions will not change by achieving something. No, these conditions of before you achieve something are also there when you achieve something. They are there in the background. That's what is in the background with the e, with the underlying meaning of e in all languages. And I hope this was also a contribution to understand the letter e in general, and the way how you combine it with other consonants, and the way how they are expressed in the Japanese script that makes you understand these things also more easily. Thanks again. Bye.